Okay. Today I'll explain about adaptive radiation. Okay. To understand adaptive radiation, I will give you few examples which will make you to understand what is adaptive radiation. Okay. Let's start our class. Okay. First of all, what do you mean by adaptive radiation? Today we're going to see about adaptive radiation. Okay. First of all, we'll move on to Galapagos Island. What do you mean by Galapagos Island? It was a place where first adaptive radiation was seen. It is located near South America, in the western coast of South America, and group of islands is known as Galapagos Islands. Not on a single island, it is a group of many islands which is located in the western coast of South America, and it is Galapagos Island. Once you all know that who is Charles Darwin. He is the father of evolution, and once he visited there to Galapagos Island with in the ship. The ship name you should remember about the ship name. The ship name is HMS Beagle, which was a 5 years voyage on the sea, and it reached Galapagos Island. There, Darwin observed many types of species in a single island. Okay, let me give you the first example of how he managed to explain adaptive radiation. First of all, they may be seed eating birds. Okay, seed eating finches. Seed eating finches in the sense the birds which will have only the beak modification to eat only seeds. Okay, so let me take an example of 50 birds migrating to this place, and there 5 birds were able to adapt to the situation, and they can be able to eat cactus. Okay, their beak were finely adapted to eat the cactus, so the 5 birds stays there, and rest of all birds remain back to the original place. And in birds population, they won't say like my girlfriend is there in cactus eating population, even I want to go there. They won't be like that. They'll be adapted there, they will get situated in that place, and they will mate, and they will become, and they will into higher populations, and will another 50 birds move on to this place. Okay, to insect this place. There, the few birds can sustain there and become insect-eating finches. In their beaks are modified into insect-eating finches. Okay, but you have to remember that the original parent population is seed-eating finches. Okay, you have to understand that seed-eating finches are the parent populations. Okay, this is adaptive radiation. The organism is moving on to different geographical areas, and they adapted to their that situation, and they continue their habitat. This is adaptive radiation. Okay, then easy example definition of adaptive radiation is formation formation of numerous species formation of numerous species from a single parent population. This is same as the Darwin finches, right? Previously discussed single parent species starting from a geographical area and literally radiating to other areas of geography. That's what, from the parent population it gets diversified and get adapted to the situation. Okay, even there may be questions like adaptive radiation is an example of what is adaptive radiation. And adaptive radiation is example of, we can straight away say that adaptive radiation is example of divergent evolution. Okay, can you even remember, as after A we have D, right? So we have divergent evolution. It is divergent evolution. You don't want to get confused. We'll get a question like adaptive radiation is an example of. Okay, even if, you may get a confusion like that, whether it can some say it as convergent evolution. Okay, when they will say it as convergent evolution means when more than one adaptive radiation takes place in a single island, more than one, which means two adaptation parallel it's taken place in a single island, it's known as convergent evolution. Okay, adaptive radiation to more than one adaptive radiation means convergent evolution, as convergent evolution, which helps, which will make the organism to develop analogous structures, which is an example of convergent evolution. Okay, these were the finches, types of finches. Originally they had seed eaters, and literally they changed into cactus eaters and insect eaters. We can see different types of beak modifications here: cactus eating beaks, sharp beaks, warbler beaks, woodpecker beaks, and vegetarian tree finches and large ground finches. These are the few examples of Darwin's finches, now famously known as Darwin finches. Okay. Okay, now we'll move on to, I'll give you another example, which is when we move on to Australia. You know, right? There are three type of mammals: prototherians, marsupials, and placental mammals. Prototherians are primitive mammals. Marsupials are pouch mammals, where the young ones is nourished in the pouch of the mother. Example: kangaroo. And placental mammals, which are we are highly modified, and we are dominant than two mammals. And we'll see here about what you mean by this population. Okay, from originally when Australia was detached from the island before the development of placental mammals. In there were only marsupials were developed. Okay, marsupials were developed, and few marsupials were literally radiated, and adaptive radiation was taken place. First of all, Tasmanian wolf, and for example, the organism has to go to this tree, so it goes on to this tree. It develops a glider type of things, and it's known as sugar glider. Squirrels and kangaroos and primitive marsupial mammals, wombat and spotted cuscus, and even placental mammals were there. Few placental mammals were there, and uh, after when time goes on, two adaptive radiation was there in Australia, and you can't differentiate between placental mammals and primitive mammals. Okay, you can, when you see from outside, which is placental mammal, which is marsupial mammal. For example, when we see the tree. Okay, next, convergent evolution. These are the examples of placental mammals and Australian marsupials. Okay, Australian marsupials. Here you can see environment is the kingmaker. I mean, when we force two organisms to live in a certain environment, these organisms will get evoluted, and these organisms will get evoluted, and at time goes on, both organisms will somewhat look similar, and you can't differentiate between them, and both will develop similar characters, similar structures. For you have to remember which comes under placental mammals and which comes under Australian marsupials. Okay, I'll give you a few tricks to remember this. The names which you have, which I thought like you might have heard before, those are known as placental mammals. For example, mouse, lemur, flying squirrels, and wolf. Okay, wolf, which is for Australian marsupials to be remembered. Those names are we haven't heard, I think, which in the sense it will be different from the normal name. For example, Tasmanian wolf and Tasmanian tiger cat and flying phalangers. For anteaters, this is different. This is quite tough, right? Numbat anteaters. For remembering this, anteaters, when we eat ant, we'll get numbness in the mouth, and you can remember like numbat anteaters. For mouse, marsupial mouse, no problem. For lemur, you have to remember spotted cuscus. Spotted cuscus has the counterpart organisms which evoluted convergently. This is adaptive radiation. I think this session would have been helpful for you. Thank you for the class. Goodbye. Bye bye.